go straight into part 10. And it's going to be Ronnie Watts' FBI interview. And as you see here, this interview was conducted minutes after Christopher Watts had confessed to killing Shanann. And it reads, Watts has never known his son Chris to have used drugs, have any mental health issues to include depression, nor have violent tendencies. To his knowledge, Christopher has never taken any medicine for mental health issues and was a strong student in school. Christopher participated in many sports growing up and put school as a priority over dating. Christopher was asked to prom by a girl instead of asking someone himself. Recently, Christopher had lost a lot of weight through following the weight loss program Shanann was promoting. Watts felt that Christopher did not want to participate in it, but was doing it because Shanann was forcing him to. No, I don't think Shanann was forcing him to. He was loving it. He was loving the extra energy. He was even trying to get everyone else to do it. He was even trying to get Nicole to do it. You know, he had even given Nicole patches to use, so she definitely wasn't forcing him to do anything. Watts believed that neither Christopher nor Shanann wanted another child. Watts described Shanann as being extremely bipolar and had paranoid tendencies towards his wife, the grandmother of their children. In one instance, Shanann accused Watts' wife of trying to kill her kids by exposing them to peanuts for which they had an allergy. A few weeks prior, when Shanann was last in North Carolina, it was very contentious, and Shanann spent the majority of the time at her parents' house, refusing to allow Watts and his wife to see their grandchildren. Watts could not reconcile why Chris admitted to killing Shanann. Towards the conclusion of the interview, Ronnie played a video on his phone for agents which showed his wife playing with Christopher and Shanann's two daughters. A copy of the audio recording is maintained on a DVD in an FD340. The original copy of the recording is stored at the Frederick Police Department. I believe the reason the FBI's report of Ronnie here is so small as opposed to everyone else's because they talked to Ronnie for a good amount of time, and I believe the reason it's so small is you just really can't understand him, you know? And I'm going to put his interview up here, and I'm going to do my very best to fix it some way to where you guys can actually read it as well, because he's really hard to understand because he mumbles a lot, and like Chris, he does that kind of snickering, you know, while he's talking, so he's really hard to understand in my opinion. Okay, and then the next page, it says this document serves to memorialize the notes taken by SSRA Todd S. and Sergeant Kevin H. and Sergeant Philip Jones pertaining the captioned investigation that do not necessarily pertain to documented interviews or other substantive reports. And this is some note. This looks like this is probably notes from the original home search, like the day that it happened, because it's got Nicole's, you know, and then they found the phone under the couch cushions. Did kid, found phone, found wedding ring on the counter, so yeah, credit card charge for dinner. May have been with someone else. No signs of a struggle. Cleaning fluids, no blood. Pregnant with boy. Nicole Kessinger called in sick today. Group me would have plainclothes officer today. Okay, that's pretty interesting about Nicole Kessinger calling in sick that day, because this is all from the day that the call was made by Nicole, as you see. And here it says Nicole Kessinger, possible girlfriend. And this is all written on the same notes from the same day, you see. This is where they found everything. This is everything that happened on the 13th. And yet, they already have her name up here at the very top on the 13th. Because this is everything for sure that happened. Okay, going on down, it says here, Nicole Kessinger called in sick today. So that's interesting. And I can't say for certain that this is the actual day they're talking about, was the 13th. At the same time, all these notes are from the 13th. I mean, as you see, that's interesting. Nikki Kessinger may have relationship, life insurance policy, and victims. Salmon dinner. Tips are going to Dispatch. Thayer's interview. Troy McCoy. Press briefing at 3:30. Okay, this is a different day and a different set of notes, obviously, because it's even written with a different ink pen, as you can see. It's even a different ink pen than the original. That's all the same ink pen right there. Obviously, see. And then, looks like maybe it's written with a Sharpie, I don't know. Okay, and this, husband Facebook deactivated, Shanann Watts, Tony Husky. And this is an FBI report that was entered on September the 11th. It says on August the 14th through August the 15th, Sergeant H communicated via email with various private companies to obtain records under exigency for the captioned investigation. These records are documented under Serial 13 in the caption file and are stored on a DVD contained in 1A17. The incoming and outgoing emails with Sergeant H are zipped and attached electronically via a FD340. And this is going to be, this report was generated on 9/13 at 4:42 p.m. Now you see that, look at that really close. The defendant's name was Christopher Watts. This report generated on the 13th at 4:42 p.m. Now look down here. Nicole Kessinger's interview. Troy McCoy's text messages. Luke Eppel's cell phone video. So see, I don't understand why Nicole is showing up on all these 9/13 reports and notes, but she absolutely is. You see, Case Master Report, Agency CBI, Division Investigations, Tammy Lee, Juvenile Missing Person, Adult Missing Person, and that is going to be the investigative report. And the date was the 17th, and it says the synopsis is assistance to the Frederick Police Department's request for a missing persons investigation. Action taken. On August the 14th, 2018, the CBI received information about an ongoing missing person incident occurring in Frederick, Colorado. At 11:44 a.m., Intelligence analyst Jillian G. contacted Frederick Police Department Dave Baumhover to offer assistance with a media alert. Detective Baumhover requested assistance with a missing endangered alert for Shanann Watts and her two daughters, Bella and Celeste. See Analysis G. Associated tips for details concerning the alert bulletin. Detective Baumhover also requested investigative assistance from CBI. Agents Tammy Lee, Greg Z., Stacy G., Matt Saylor, Kevin Koback, and agent in charge was Kirby Lewis. They responded to the Frederick Police Department to assist. Endangered Missing Advisory Report. Broadcasters, this is a request for your voluntary cooperation in airing the following information, either as an alert message in your next newscast until you receive a cancellation form. The EAS will not be activated for this alert. And of course it shows Bella, and it has her height and eye and weight, and then Celeste, and then Shanann. Monday, August the 13th, 2018, 1:30 p.m. Shanann Watts and her two daughters, 3 and 4 years old, were last seen on Monday, August the 13th in Frederick, Colorado. Shanann is 15 weeks pregnant, and there is no vehicle associated at this time. If you have questions or information about this missing person media alert, please contact the requesting law enforcement agency. And then, of course, there's more of the same. And this is the investigative supplemental report. And it says, description is Cody Roberts. Stacy G. is the one that gave him the interview. On 8/15/2018, CBI Stacy G. interviewed Anadarko Petroleum Incorporated employee Cody Roberts in the lobby interview room of the Frederick Police Department. Christopher Watts texted Cody Roberts on Sunday, August the 12th, to inform him that he would respond to survey Monday morning for work. Okay, the synopsis reads, on 8/14/2018, Frederick Police Department requested the assistance of CBI in a missing persons case. Shanann Watts and her daughters, Bella and Celeste, were missing from their residence in Frederick, last seen by Chris Watts, husband and father. Action taken. On 8/15 at about 15:50 hours, and that would be 3:50 p.m., CBI agent Stacy G. interviewed Anadarko Petroleum Corporation employee Cody Roberts in the lobby interview room of the Frederick Police Department. The following information was given from said interview. Roberts first learned that Shanann Watts and her children were missing by reviewing Facebook posts on 8/14. Roberts then called Troy McCoy to confirm what he read. Roberts has known Chris for 2 years working at Anadarko and considers him a work friend. They do not hang out outside of work. Roberts reported that Watts worked Monday, 8/14, and Monday wasn't 8/14, Monday was 8/13. So that would be another typo. Texted Roberts at 6:30 a.m. and said he was going to Survey Ranch. Chad McNeil called Roberts at 6:40 a.m. and told him to come out to 1029 Pump Unit. Roberts was going to meet Watts there. Roberts was waiting around from 7:20 to 7:30 a.m. at the Survey State well pump, and McNeil told Roberts to go ahead and fire up the pump. Roberts believed Watts was at the 319 with Troy McCoy. At 8:38 a.m., Roberts called Watts, and Watts did not answer. Roberts assumed Watts was out pressure testing a line. Watts called back 10 minutes later and said he was at Survey 319, checking something out and that McCoy was there too. He said the line was definitely bad. Roberts thought Chris seemed normal that day, but possibly like something was bothering him. Watts was at his truck a lot that day, and Roberts believed Watts to be a great guy. He was quiet and was willing to help. Roberts said there are 7 total well pump sites on the Survey Ranch. The ones that Roberts named were 319, 1029, 629, and 1129. Watts was at Survey Ranch alone at 6:30 a.m. per Roberts. Watts had texted Roberts on Sunday, 8/12, to tell Roberts that Watts was going to go from his house to Survey on Monday morning. This was not unusual communication between Watts and Robert for a weekend, but it was not totally out of the realm, as Roberts has talked to Watts over the weekend before. He was a bit surprised Watts contacted him on a Sunday, though. It was unusual but not shocking. Roberts let me look at the text message between him and Watts. I took photos of them, which are attached to his supplemental report. The following depicts the text communication between Watts and Roberts. Sunday, August the 12th. Chris, 17:06 hours, which is 5:06 p.m. I have whip checks for the Survey 629. I'm going to go straight out there from my house this morning. I will look at that 319 as well and run the 1129 if you want. Roberts, 1720, which is 5:20 p.m. I was going to head out there first thing tomorrow to check out the 319. Did Troy talk to you about what I had found out there Friday afternoon? Chris, yep. I was standing right next to him. Chris, I was giving him a fire stick to look at. Chris, I can go out there though. No sense in both of us going out there. LOL. Roberts, alright, sounds good, man. I appreciate it. I think I still have a couple of conies left out there. I can let you know in the morning, and let me know if you find anything at the 319. If not, we may pressure test that BP line and see if it's leaking underground. Chris, copy that. Yes. Where you at? Okay, this is Monday. We're starting all over here. This is Monday morning, okay? And it starts at 6:31 a.m. Monday morning, 6:31 a.m. That would be around the time he is arriving at Survey 319 with Shanann and the girls. That would either be right about the time he gets there or right before he gets there. In my own opinion, I'm thinking it's probably right before he gets there, just to make sure that Cody's not already there before he pulls in there with his family. That's my opinion. Because he left his house at 5:45. It's 45 minutes to an hour drive to Survey. 319 from his house, depending on the traffic. He said that himself. So at 6:31 a.m., that would be right at 45 minutes or a little less. So, judging from the timeline, I would say he sent this message to Cody before he got at Survey, right before he got there, because he didn't want to pull up in Survey 319 and Cody already be there. That's my opinion. 6:31 a.m. Where you at? Robert, 6:32 a.m. Just got fuel in Kersey. Chris, 6:33 a.m. Okay, I'm in Survey. Chris, 6:33 a.m. Where you going first? And I believe when Chris is texting all this is when he just pulled into Survey. He's sitting in the truck. The kids are still alive at this point, in my opinion. And he's doing all this texting before he gets out and tries to get rid of Shanann or do anything, because he don't want a chance doing all that and then Cody pull up in the process of him doing what he's doing. So I think while he's doing all this texting that we're looking at here, I think the girls were still alive. Robert, 6:33 a.m. DPC state. Chris, 6:34 a.m. Thumbs up emoji. Roberts, 6:35 a.m. I need to call Chad and see if plans on still stroking the 1029 out there to see if it'll pump up. Roberts, 6:35 a.m. If so, I'll have to meet him or he will have to get the Canon plugs from Tony K. Chris, 6:35 a.m. Okay, let me know before I leave here. Roberts, 6:38 a.m. I think he might be headed out there today. Phone was breaking up pretty bad. Roberts, 6:59 a.m. I guess I'm headed out that way to start up the 1029 and Chad will be meeting me out there. Roberts, 6:59 out. So if you will see, Roberts continued to text Chris. Chris sent his last one to him at 6:35 a.m. And then Roberts sent him another one 3 minutes later at 6:38. And then he sent him another one 6:59 and then another one at 6:59. Chris is not replying to these. He's not being as quick to reply as he was up here. He was like back to back up here. So in my opinion, when he found out Roberts was already somewhere else, at 6:35 is when he started doing what he was doing with Shanann and the girls, because he didn't reply back during that time between 6:35 and 7 a.m. Roberts didn't hear anything back from him. So, in my opinion, given this timeline and the way I think it happened, is I think Chris texted Cody before he got there to make sure he wasn't there. And so, given all this, I believe this last text at 6:35, as soon as he sent that, that's when he got out of the truck and started doing the disposing of them and taking out the girls. The next time Watts responds was at 7:10 a.m. He says, okay, copy. So from 6:35 a.m., it took him till 7:10 a.m. to reply back. 35 minutes. 35 minutes it took him to reply back to Cody after he had sat there, and he's the one that initiated the whole text messaging with Cody, hitting him up at 6:31, where you at? I hope you understand where I'm going with this, my personal opinion. And then he was back to back texting him, right? And then he stopped at 6:35. And he doesn't send another message to him until 7:10 a.m. 35 minutes. So I believe between 6:35 and 7:05 maybe, 7:10 maybe, 09, 7:09 maybe, that is the time that he done what he done with the girls and Shanann. That's my opinion. Cody texted him back at 7:41 a.m. I'm here at the 1029 now. You mind coming out here just in case something gets sideways? Chris, 7:43. Yeah, I'm at the 319, 1 second. So see how much quicker he replied right here? Like 2 minutes. So, during that 2 minutes before he replied, who knows what he was doing at that point. Probably changing clothes, something. But, yeah. And then Cody, 7:43 a.m. 10:04, how's it look? What? Another 2 minutes later, 7:45 a.m. Fresh? LOL. How can he write things like this? LOL, LOL, knowing damn well what he has just done. What? 7:45 a.m. fresh, LOL. Roberts, 7:51 a.m. Is it a lot? Watts, 7:53 a.m. Photo of pipes into the ground with apparent leak, 7:53 a.m. So, as you see, most of the time it takes him about 2 minutes to reply back. So, in those 2 minutes, in this particular 2-minute span, he said he had taken photos of pipes in the ground. That is when I believe he also took the photo of the sunflowers, or whatever it was. Yeah, sunflowers in the fields that he took for Nicole. Roberts, 7:55 a.m. Want me to bring some gator? We can try to pressure test the line too if you want. Watts, 5 minutes later, 8 a.m. I got it handled, thanks though. Roberts, 10:04, 8 a.m. And then this is additional from Cody. It says Cody did not know that Survey 629 needed whip checks. Cody provided that no one really likes going out there to Survey as it is so far. If Chris would not have gone to Survey Monday morning, he would have gone to the office. Cody did not know the last time Chris may have been out to Survey Ranch. Cody estimated that Chris spends about 95% of his time in the field and 5% in the office. He would spend 1 to 2 hours in the Platteville office in the mornings. Chris was previously a rover and is now a lead and works all over the place. Chad McNeil and Melissa Parrish were at 10:29. Watts was at 6:29. When Watts was there at 6:30 a.m., like he told Roberts, no one but Watts would have been there. Troy McCoy, Chad McNeil, and Melissa Parrish would have been the first ones to see Watts on 8:13. Unknown exact order they all arrived. All of the named employees were in separate vehicles. Roberts believed that Watts absolutely loved his family and girls were his world. Watts would receive calls from Shanann. He would step out to take her calls. There were no indications to Robert that Chris and his wife were having problems. There was no indication to Robert that Chris was seeing anyone on the side. Watts would talk about family vacations, his friends, and mention Shanann's new car. Watts did not talk about his finances. Roberts is an operator and has a set route to maintain 24 wells. Chris is a lead and field coordinator, which is right under a foreman. A lead can act as a foreman in the foreman's absence. Cody is an operator and has a set route to maintain 24 wells. Watts is a lead field coordinator, which is right under a foreman. A lead can act as a foreman in the foreman's absence. Cody thought there were some weird things, but commented that he knows Colorado has a high sex trafficking rate, and that the travel time for Watts from 5:30 a.m. until 6:30 a.m. to get to Survey would be right. The trucks have GPS which monitors speed, braking, and cell phone use while driving. Bluetooth. Roberts was told that Anadarko pulled the GPS data from Watts's truck. Roberts said he texted Chris on 8:14 to let him know that his thoughts and prayers were with Watts, and Watts did not reply. Cody said Chris keeps to himself and has no family here. Chris never came off as sketchy to Roberts. Chris was not nervous at the sites on Monday, in Roberts' opinion. Chris does not have any friends outside of work that Cody knows. Anadarko employees that work with or have worked with Watts are Chad McNeil, Troy McCoy, Melissa Parrish, Luke Epple, Anthony Brown, Tim Schuster, Tony Kern, and Robert Mary. Interview concluded at 16:30 hours. Highlights of interview provided to investigator group following interview. Attachment: photos of cell phone texting messages between Cody and Chris. Audio of interviews with Robert. Okay, this is an investigative supplement report with David Cologne. I have his audio interview here on the channel, and I'm so sorry I mispronounced his name, his last name, but his last name is pronounced Cologne. On August the 15th, 2018, CBI agent Kellen H. began assisting Frederick Police Department on a missing person investigation. I was assigned to interview David Cologne, an associate of Chris Watts, and did so at approximately 1:15 p.m. on the same date. And this is David Cologne's information. On August the 15th, 2018, CBI agent Kellen H. began assisting Frederick Police Department on a missing persons investigation. I was assigned to interview David Cologne, an associate of Chris Watts, and did so at approximately 1:15 p.m. on the same date. Action taken. CBI agent Stacy G. and I went to the Boulder County Jail, where Cologne is employed, to conduct a voluntary interview with him regarding Shanann Watts' missing person investigation. At approximately 1:15 p.m., Agent G and I made contact with Cologne inside the jail. An office was obtained to utilize as an interview room. The contact and interview with Cologne was audio recorded, and the audio recording is entered as an attachment to this report. Following is a non-chronological synopsis of the interview, which utilizes paraphrasing. Cologne stated that he has known Chris and Shanann for approximately 7 years, starting when they moved from North Carolina to Colorado. He said they both worked at Longmont Ford, and he was doing vehicle reconditioning at his own business at Longmont Ford at the same time. Cologne has maintained a friendship with Chris and Shanann and lives in the same subdivision. Cologne advised he went to see Chris at the Watts' home on Monday, August the 13th, 2018, after Shanann was declared missing. I asked about the background of that situation, and Cologne said he received a text message from Jeremy Lindstrom asking him what was going on with Chris and Shanann. Cologne said he found out from Lindstrom that Shanann was missing, and they continued to send text messages back and forth. Cologne said he sent a text message to Chris Watts about the situation, but didn't hear anything back, so he called Chris to find out what was going on. In conversing with Chris, Cologne said he was told Chris went to work and Shanann was missing after that. According to Cologne, Chris told him Shanann had left her personal items, including her keys, at the residence. Cologne said the phone conversation occurred at approximately 9 p.m. Cologne then walked over to the Watts' residence to speak further with Chris, and he thought he arrived at approximately 9:30 p.m. Cologne said Chris was the only person present and that Chris was keeping himself busy by doing the housework. I later asked Cologne what he meant by housework, and he said the carpet looked freshly vacuumed. Cologne said Chris was also making a protein shake. Cologne said Jeremy Lindstrom arrived approximately 30 minutes later. I asked Cologne what statements he remembered Chris making, and Cologne said Chris said he and Shanann were separated and she went to North Carolina for 5 weeks. Chris told Cologne the marriage was struggling. Cologne said he did not know the specifics of the difficulties in the marriage, but knew they had argued that morning of Monday, August the 13th. Cologne had no further details about the argument. Cologne said Chris was worried that one of the missing children did not have the necessary medical. I asked Cologne for his overall impression of Shanann, and he described her as overbearing, but said she is overall a good mother and person. He said he unfriended Shanann on Facebook due to her constant posting. Cologne said Chris was the opposite. He preferred to go with the flow and let Shanann make all the decisions in their relationship. Cologne was not aware of any financial difficulties in the Watts household. Cologne said it was his impression that Shanann left on her own. Cologne said he was not aware of any infidelity in their relationship. Agent G asked Cologne about Chris's Facebook account, and Cologne said he talked to Chris about it and found out that Shanann was writing the post on Chris's page. Cologne said Chris isn't on Facebook anymore and has not asked him why. Prior to Monday, Cologne said he thought it had been approximately 4 months since he saw Chris Watts. He said it had been approximately a year since he spoke with Shanann. Cologne had no knowledge of the Watts family trying to sell their home. Okay, this is going to be another investigative supplement report, and this is going to be an interview with Christina Meacham. And it says the synopsis is on August the 15th, 2018, CBI agent Kellen began assisting Frederick Police Department on a missing person investigation. I was assigned to call Christina Meacham, an associate of Shanann Watts. And we know Christina is a really good friend of Shanann. They've been friends for many years, and Christina's actual audio video is on our channel of her interview, where you can actually hear her talking, but this is just going to be a rundown of the report of her interview. And the synopsis says, on August the 15th, 2018, CBI agent Kellen began assisting Frederick Police Department on a missing person investigation. I was assigned to call Christina Meacham, an associate of the missing person Shanann Watts. Action taken. I reached Meacham via telephone at approximately 10:30 a.m. She agreed to talk with me regarding Shanann. I spoke with Meacham via my work cell phone, and the conversation was not recorded. But I do have her recorded one on the channel. I will link it at the end of this video. Meacham told me she has known Shanann for approximately 14 years. They used to work together in North Carolina. Previously, Meacham said she flew out to Colorado in August of 2017 and stayed with Shanann in their home for 2 months, while Shanann was recovering from a surgery. The last time Meacham saw Shanann in person was June of 2018 in San Diego. They last spoke on the phone on Friday, August the 10th. During our phone conversation, Meacham referenced numerous text messages Shanann Watts sent her regarding her marriage to Chris. On August the 16th, I received digital image files via email from Meacham, which contained screenshots of the messages. As a result, 89 image files of text messages are attached to this report. The text message string appears to start when Shanann is on vacation in North Carolina and ends with a message sent from Meacham to Shanann on the day she disappeared. Please review those text message images for few details of the information Shanann provided to Meacham. Meacham told me Shanann told her during Shanann's recent trip to North Carolina that Chris Watts came to visit her and there were problems. Meacham advised Shanann said Chris would not hug or kiss her, appeared to be only focused on food, and it was a rough time overall. Prior to this, Meacham perceived that the marriage between Shanann and Chris was very good and described it as a model relationship. Regarding the marriage and relationship, Meacham perceived that Shanann was in charge of the house and she was very organized, and he would do whatever she told him to do. Meacham described Shanann as OCD in the way the household was operated. In recent weeks, Meacham described Shanann as being increasingly frustrated with Chris's behavior and their marriage. Shanann told Meacham that Chris left to sleep on the couch during an argument, and they were also arguing about who wanted the new baby. Shanann was pregnant. Shanann told Meacham that Chris would not fight back during arguments and was distant. Shanann said Chris was being an asshole and refused to have sexual relations with her after she returned from North Carolina. According to Meacham, Shanann described that she doesn't know Chris anymore and was scared about how Chris was going to respond to the new baby in the household. Additionally, Chris told Shanann that they were no longer compatible according to what Meacham was told. Meacham described her perception that the Watts family had financial problems. Meacham said the Watts were living above their means. and said Shanann was concerned about the expense of buying food during the recent period that Meacham lived with them. Meacham detailed the events of August the 13th. She was called by Nikki, a mutual friend of Shanann's and her. She was on the phone with Nikki during the time Nikki went to the Watts' home to try to locate Shanann before calling Chris at work. Meacham told me she believed Chris' reported behaviors on August the 13th are inconsistent with his past behavior. In particular, Meacham said Chris never backed his work truck to the garage during the 2 months she lived there. She said he always parked to the left of the front door and always left the house out of the front door. Meacham told me Shanann wouldn't have left the house without medication and sandals and would not have missed the first day of kindergarten for the kids. Meacham believed the missing person report regarding Shanann was 100% out of character and said Shanann has plenty of friends and places to go. Meacham also has knowledge Shanann was planning a weekend trip to Aspen with Chris for the weekend after she went missing, the weekend of August 18th and 19th. Furthermore, according to Meacham, Chris Watts had agreed to go to marriage counseling with Shanann. Nothing further. And of course, there's going to be 89 image files of text messages that are attached, so we will be getting to them, I'm sure, really soon. The next one's going to be an interview with Cindy Darasset, and it was on 8/15 as well. And again, it was Agent Kellen that performed the interview. And the synopsis reads, on August the 15th, CBI Agent Kellen began assisting Frederick Police Department on a missing person investigation. I was assigned to call Cindy Darasset, an associate of Shanann Watts. Action taken. Prior to the call, I was advised Darasset was in contact with Shanann over the weekend at a work conference in Scottsdale, Arizona. I called Darasset via phone on my work cell phone, and the phone conversation was not recorded. I reached Darasset at approximately 11:35 a.m., and she agreed to speak with me regarding Shanann Watts. Darasset said Shanann arrived in the morning of Friday, August the 10th, 2018, and that the work conference for Lavelle and Thrive occurred at an Embassy Suites hotel in Scottsdale, Arizona. Darasset's primary contact with Shanann occurred on Sunday evening, August the 12th, when they went to dinner at approximately 5 p.m. prior to dropping Shanann and her friend Nikki off at the airport to fly home to Denver. During the dinner on Sunday evening, Darasset said Shanann confided in her that she and Chris were having marital difficulties. Darasset recalled that Shanann told her that after Shanann returned home from a vacation to North Carolina, Chris was distant. During the vacation, Darasset said Shanann said Chris was not returning her phone calls. Shanann told Darasset she asked Chris if he still loved her, and he didn't even answer. Shanann also said Chris didn't touch her anymore. Generally, Shanann described Chris as a non-confrontational and having his head in the sand, especially when it came to the kids. Shanann told Darasset that Chris told her it would be nice if he could hang a picture on the wall at home without her permission. Also, Darasset said Shanann confided in her that they were no longer compatible in their marriage. Darasset said Shanann also told her she was planning a getaway weekend for August the 18th and 19th, as well as potential canceling with Chris. Darasset said Shanann was concerned about losing her husband. While at dinner, Shanann found out Chris had spent approximately $60 at a dinner when he was supposed to go to a Rockies game. Darasset said they were trying to figure out what he had bought for that amount because the website for the restaurant showed a burger and a beer should have cost like $15. Regarding Shanann potentially being a missing person, Darasset said Shanann was a helicopter mom and would have never left without medication, not missed a doctor's appointment, and would have had the kids show up at school. Darasset said she has not met Chris in person. Over the course of the weekend they were together, Darrisatte said she observed Shanann was looking tired and wasn't eating. Darrisatte said she had to remind Shanann to eat. Darrisatte also told me she was aware Shanann canceled a gender reveal due to the conflict with Chris. Nothing further. Okay, this is a CBI investigative supplement report. This is going to be of the interview of Jeremy and Jennifer Lindstrom. This is done by CBI agent Matt Saylor, and this interview is actually audio recorded, and I also have this interview on the channel as well if you want to listen to the interview in its entirety, and I will also link it at the end of this video. And the synopsis: interview of Jeremy Lindstrom and Jennifer Lindstrom at their residence. Action taken. On 8/14 at approximately 17:34 hours, CBI agent Matthew Saylor responded to their home to interview Jeremy and Jennifer Lindstrom. The interview was conducted in the dining room area of their residence, and the audio was recorded. A copy of the recording is attached to this report. During the same time, CBI agent Kevin Kovac interviewed their daughter, McKenna Lindstrom, in another room. The following is a synopsis of the interview. For additional details, refer to the audio recording. Jeremy said that he worked with both Chris and Shanann at Longmont Ford. He said that they moved to Colorado from North Carolina for Chris to work there, and Shanann later also got a job there. Neither Chris nor Shanann have worked at Longmont Ford in a couple of years. Chris and Shanann came to Colorado from North Carolina approximately 6 or 7 years ago. The Lindstroms described their relationship with the Watts as best friends that you only see a few times a year, but it's as if you see each other all the time. Jeremy said that they see the Watts for birthday parties, both families, barbecues, and holidays. Chris and the girls, Bella and Celeste, were at the Lindstroms' residence Sunday the 12th for their son Caden's birthday party. Chris was described as acting normal at the birthday party, that he is a quiet person and doesn't show emotions much. The Lindstroms said that he was watching after the girls, and they said that there were 5 or 6 adults and 5 or 6 kids at the party. Prior to the birthday party on Sunday, Jeremy last spoke to Chris on Friday the 10th. Chris texted Jeremy asking if McKenna could babysit on Saturday so that he could go to a Rockies baseball game because he had won tickets at work. And we all know that's bullshit. On Saturday, Jeremy texted Chris telling him that he had Broncos tickets and asked if Chris wanted to go to that game instead. Chris declined, saying his work would be angry if he didn't use the Rockies tickets. Jeremy didn't know who Chris went to the Rockies game with. McKenna babysat for Chris on Saturday while Chris was at the Rockies game. Jennifer said she dropped her off at 16:25 hours and left the house to pick her up at around 2200 hours, as Chris said he'd be home around then. Jennifer arrived about 10 minutes later, and Chris was not home yet. She waited in the car with her sleeping son, and around 22:30 hours, Chris arrived home. She said Chris pulled into the garage and didn't believe he knew she was in the car. Jennifer said Chris was driving the white Lexus SUV. Jennifer said that when McKenna left, she came out the front door and the dog followed her out. Jennifer said that the Watts girls have a very regimented schedule and that their bedtime is 1900 hours. McKenna told her that Chris had ordered pizza for the girls, and after they ate and played for a little bit, it was time for the girls to get ready for bed. McKenna said that Celeste went to sleep, but Bella came downstairs and said she could not sleep. McKenna had Bella sit with her for a bit and then took her upstairs, and Bella went to bed. McKenna said that the girls were very easy to watch. Jeremy and Jennifer did not know why Bella was unable to sleep, nor if that is normal for her. Jennifer said that the dog that ran out when McKenna left is a Dachshund named Dieter. The Watts have no other pets. Jeremy and Jennifer said they spoke with Chris at the birthday party on Sunday and that he seemed normal. Chris was telling them that he and Shanann knew the gender of their baby and that the gender reveal party was scheduled for this week. They asked Chris if he needed a crib and he said he did not. Towards the end of the party, Celeste fell on a swing set in the backyard and Chris comforted her, and Celeste said she wanted her blanket. Jeremy and Jennifer said that Chris has always been really good with the girls and they described him as a mellow guy. Jennifer said that Shanann told them they weren't planning on having another child, but Chris wanted to and she agreed to it because of how much of a hands-on dad he is, and that he would always be there to help her. Shanann told her this on Father's Day and seemed excited about it. Jennifer said in her previous pregnancies, Shanann had been ill, but this time she was feeling good. When asked about Shanann's medical conditions, Jennifer says Shanann has lupus, fibromyalgia, migraines, and body pains. Before Bella was born, she was told by a doctor that she probably wouldn't be able to have children. Jeremy said that Shanann was always kind of strange to him, with all of her health problems. He said that she pronounced her name Shanann, but her mom pronounces her name Shannon, and Jeremy said that he felt Shanann was just kind of rebellious. Jeremy said that Shanann is very meticulous with everything, and everything in her house is organized and labeled. Jeremy said that she is very particular and kind of controlling over Chris. He described a time when he was taking Chris to the airport, and Chris could not leave until he finished cleaning the basement. Jeremy and Jennifer both said that Shanann had found the right person for her, and that she was a type A personality and Chris was a type B. Jeremy said that when Chris and Shanann worked at the Ford dealership, the dealership would hand both of their paychecks to Shanann because she handled everything on the finances. Jennifer said that Bella and Celeste have a regimented schedule and a consistent routine that they follow at bedtime. Jeremy and Jennifer said that Shanann is very consistent and has been doing very well with her Thrive business because she is consistent and follows through. Jeremy said that prior to Shanann starting with Thrive, she and Chris struggled more financially. Jeremy and Jennifer said that Shanann was doing well with Thrive and that the company paid their car payment. And Shanann won several trips. They said she was somewhat frugal and cut coupons, and at one point had a part-time job at Children's Place so she could get a discount. Jennifer said that Shanann and Chris were planning on going to Aspen this weekend and asked McKenna to watch the girls from 1630 hours to 1900 hours on Friday because the person watching the girls over the weekend wasn't available until 1900 hours. Jeremy and Jennifer said that Shanann was previously in North Carolina for about 5 weeks without Chris, just prior to her trip to Arizona. Jennifer said she believed Chris went to North Carolina for the last week of Shanann's visit there. Jeremy said that previously Shanann's mother lived with them for an extended period of time. Well, it was her mom and dad, not just her mother. And a female from Hawaii who lived with them for an extended period of time last summer when Shanann had neck surgery and could not lift the girls. And that was Christina Meacham. Jeremy said that Shanann is a person of habit and follows the same schedule every day, so it was strange to him when the girls didn't show up for their first day of school on Monday. Jennifer said that Shanann is an avid Facebook poster to the point that some people feel it is overkill. Jennifer said that Shanann will make numerous posts every day, including promoting her Thrive business. Jennifer said that Shanann likes to share everything, and it was very unusual when she had not posted anything on Facebook. Jeremy and Jennifer said it would be very out of character for Shanann to disappear, especially without her phone, purse, and car seats. Jennifer said that Shanann always has her phone with her and is the kind of person that if you text, she will text you right back. Jeremy said that he saw that Shanann's mom in North Carolina posted on Facebook that Shanann was missing, and he read it several times because he could not believe it. Jeremy said that he called Dave Cologne, a friend who lives in Chris and Shanann's neighborhood, to go over and check on Chris. Cologne called Jeremy back and said that Shanann was indeed missing, and Jeremy immediately went over to Chris's house. Jeremy said this was around 20-30 hours and that it was very unusual for the girls to not be in bed by that time. Jeremy said he asked Chris if the girls' medications were gone, and Chris told him that Shanann could have taken spare medications from the basement. Jennifer said that Celeste is highly allergic to some things. Jeremy said he offered to stay all night with Chris, and Jeremy said Chris's demeanor was just a blank stare. Jeremy said Chris told him he just wanted to finish cleaning and go to bed. Jeremy said he didn't know if this was normal because everyone reacts different, and maybe he was cleaning because he was stressed or nervous. Jeremy said Chris does clean a lot and do a whole lot around the house. I asked Jeremy if Chris seemed concerned, and he said yes, but more shocked, like he didn't know what to do. Jeremy said he asked Chris a ton of questions trying to figure things out. Jeremy said Chris never said anything about he and Shanann having a fight or anything like that. Jeremy said Chris was on the phone with his mom and said that his mom told him that everyone was making it look like he did something on Facebook. Chris never gave Jeremy his theory of what happened to Shanann and the girls. Jeremy said he asked Chris if they should go look in the park or go drive around looking for Shanann and the girls, and Chris told him no. The police told him to stay home because he wouldn't know where to look or what to look for. Jeremy and Jennifer said it was strange to see the girls on the news and believed they were the last people to see them as they left their house after the birthday party on Sunday, and they actually are the last people to see them. Jennifer said that neither Chris nor Shanann had family in Colorado, and they didn't know where Shanann would go if she just left to get away for a while. Jeremy said that if Shanann is cheating on Chris, or if he is cheating on her, they aren't telling anyone and nobody knows about it. Jeremy said they don't strike you as the type of people that would cheat on each other, and Jennifer described them as cookie cutters. They both said that Chris and Shanann had the perfect life. Jeremy said that Cologne used to own a body shop in Longmont and fixed a lot of Longmont Ford's used cars. He said that Cologne lives in Chris's neighborhood, but he doesn't know the address. Jeremy provided a phone number. Jeremy said that he and Cologne were at Chris's house for 15 or 20 minutes and no one else was there at the time. Jeremy said that Chris told him that all he can do is wait and hope the police find Shanann and the girls. Jeremy said that nothing in the house looked out of place and that their residence is always very neat and clean. When asked about other friends of Chris and Shanann, Jeremy and Jennifer said they didn't know of any. Jeremy said they used to know of a couple that Chris and Shanann were friends with, but that couple hasn't been around in years. Jeremy said that he believes Chris works a lot, and Jennifer said she believes Chris and Shanann hang out with people that they know through Thrive. Jeremy said that Shanann works 24 hours a day on Thrive, and they only see the Watts 4 or 5 times a year. Jeremy said Shanann posts so much on Facebook that you feel like you are around her. Jeremy said that Chris was on social media only occasionally, sometimes posting something on Facebook about Thrive. Jeremy said that Chris has lost a lot of weight, and Shanann frequently posted about him being in shape, including pictures such as Chris doing push-ups with one of the girls on his back. Jeremy said that both Chris and Shanann have lost weight over the last couple of years, and they both contributed that to Thrive. Jennifer said that they don't really know any of Chris and Shanann's other friends, and she said that they saw someone on the news who described herself as Shanann's best friend, but they didn't know her. Jeremy said that he didn't know if Cologne had stopped by Chris's house or talked to him in years. Jeremy said he learned Shanann and the girls were missing when he saw her mom's post on Facebook saying she was missing. Jeremy said he didn't understand why Chris didn't text him asking him if he had seen Shanann or the girls. Jeremy said that Shanann didn't come to the birthday party because she was in Arizona on a Thrive convention, which she told them about when she was over on Father's Day. Jennifer said it was normal for Shanann to be out of town for her Thrive business, and that Chris takes care of the girls when she is gone and takes them to birthday parties and other events. Jennifer said that when they arrived at the birthday party, Celeste and Bella had their hair in ponytails, which Chris must have done. Jennifer said that it seemed like Chris does a good job of taking care of the mom role when Shanann was gone. When asked what they thought happened, Jeremy said he didn't know, and you can't put anything past anyone. Jennifer said that she also doesn't know, and thought if Shanann is stressed and pregnant, she might walk away. Jeremy says that he worries that Shanann doesn't have any of the issues that she claims she has. When asked to explain this, he said that when a commercial would come on television for a disease, Shanann would claim that she had that condition. He said that Shanann told them that she would never be able to have kids, and now she is on her third one. He said he didn't think Shanann had all of the conditions that she claimed to have. He said he wouldn't put it past her to just leave. Jeremy said that he didn't think Chris would ever harm a fly, and wondered if Shanann's OCD and honey-do list have gotten to Chris. Jeremy said he doubted it, and that Chris personally didn't convey anything like that. Jeremy said that there is no way Chris would ever touch his girls. Jeremy said that Chris told him that Chris and Shanann did not know the gender of the baby, that another friend had it in an envelope and was going to do a gender reveal party. Jeremy said that the conversations at the birthday party were normal and that there were plans made for the future, such as a trip to Aspen. Jeremy said that both Chris and Shanann were excited about having another baby, and that Shanann loves having kids and posts everything about them. He said that if they were having a marital problem, they hid it very well. Jeremy said that he thinks Shanann might walk away and disappear just to get attention. Jeremy and Jennifer said they didn't have any further information. End of report. Audio recording of interview of Jeremy and Jennifer Lindstrom. Okay, as I said, I'm going to have that audio. I will link it at the end of this video. Keep in mind that this is their truth, and I don't want anybody bashed, and I know they said some pretty incriminating things about Shanann, but all this interview was done before they knew anything had happened. At this point, she was only missing, and I mean, this is their truth. This is what they saw. This is how they looked at Chris and Shanann. Whether I agree with it, or whether you agree with it, or whether anyone agrees with it, you know, that's just going to have to be our own opinion and our own judgment. And many of us, most of us, it's going to have to just agree to disagree. But I can't have any bashing of these people or anyone else. So please don't go bashing them in the comments, because, you know, that's just not right. We don't do that here. As I always say, we're unbiased, and we look at every angle, the good, the bad, the ugly. So please understand that, and like our mom told us, you know, if we got nothing nice to say, don't say nothing at all. Okay, let's just end part 10 right here, and then we'll pick up on part 11 here very soon. Going into part 11, we are actually going to be going into the consent to search at Saratoga Trail. Okay, guys, have a great one. This is Unjustified.